stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Barely. It is barely morning. It is 11:53 Mountain Standard Time. So I had a little sleeping in. I worked my butt off yesterday, so a little extra rest. Just a little bit of extra rest. All right, I think that's enough sharing. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to the stepmoms, to all the moms, man. The ones that take care of us, the ones that, not all mothers are biological. A lot of them are. Now, when it comes to Father's Day, we'll have something different to say. I'm not going to thank the dads that are mothers because they're dads and they can't be mothers. I do not thank mothers for being the father. Also, do not thank mothers on Father's Day. That is very disrespectful to the fathers who do what we can. We don't do that. We don't do that to you. It's another part of the segregation that we go through. It's a wonder that men have a hard time sharing their feelings, because when we do, whatever situation we're in, it gets taken away. No, I have a great example, the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts is a fantastic example of that. Get the girls out of Boy Scouts, please. You're just creating a bunch of weak fucks. All of it's what we want. That's what we want. We want to be able to control our people. We don't want them to grow. All right, I'm off topic. We're going to talk about step 12, and we're at the 3-minute mark. So, welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. We're going to be reading out 12 by 12 today. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. I already know almost everybody is either getting to go to a meeting or Mother's Day or something. So I'm anticipating this just to be a rewatch. So if people show up, great, but I don't think. Not today. But that's okay. I still need to do what I need to do for my sobriety, right? Well, good morning, Sawyer. Yes, you guys have been following me around all morning. Well, all morning. Well, for the last 45 minutes that I've been up. Actually, I've been up an hour now. All right. Tradition 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all of our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personality. There's a couple things in here. Number one, you can't go around breaking other people's anonymity. That's the main thing. You cannot go say Dion is a member of AA. You cannot say Dion once said in a meeting. You can't say that outside of a meeting. What you say here, who you see here, what is said here stays there. Period. Okay. Now, you can certainly say I was in a meeting and somebody said, there you go. Just keep the damn name. Keep other people's name out of your damn mouth. Period. It's a good rule of thumb. It is. Right? Like, and I'll give a good example of myself here. I made the mistake of sometimes bringing up people's names from groups and things like that, and somebody stopped watching because of it. Now, I wish they would have said something to me instead, But, to each their own. We handle things our own way. And, but I caught it. So I made that change. Yeah. It would have been better. So I would have just said, hey, I'm your friend. And so what does that tell me? It tells me that person doesn't really care about what I'm doing. They just want to see what's wrong. You ever have people in your life that's all they do? Doesn't matter what you bring to the table, there's always something negative about it. Well, it's wrong because the spiritual substance of anonymity is sacrifice. Yeah. Sacrifice. We're going to look it up. It was just in front of me. I didn't see it. Okay. Sacrifice is not in here. No, not in there. Surprising, actually. Because AA's 12 traditions repeatedly ask to give up our personal desires for the common good, we realize that the sacrificial spirit, well symbolized by anonymity, is the foundation of them all. It is AA's proved willingness to make these sacrifices that gives people their high confidence in the future. What are you mostly going to sacrifice? Time and money. Not much. You don't have much more. There's not much more to sacrifice. But time is a lot. Time is a lot. There are going to be some times when it's going to interfere with your personal stuff. Yep. And you're going to have to work around it. It's just how it is. But in the beginning, anonymity was not born a confidant. It was a child of our early fears. Our first nameless group of alcoholics were secret societies. New prospects could only find us through a few trusted friends. The bare hint of publicity, even for our work, shocked us. Though ex-drinkers, we still thought we had to hide from public distrust and contempt. That's how AA started. If you did not know this, this is where sponsorships started. Okay? Our first nameless and were secret societies. In order to get in, you needed to be sponsored. That's how those groups work. Not anymore. When the big book appeared in 1939, we called it Alcoholics Anonymous. The first name of the book was A Way Out. But there were 12 other books named A Way Out. Actually, I think it was more than that, but I bring it a lower number because I don't quite remember. But I know it was in the teens somewhere, so I go at 12. Its forward made this revealing statement: it is important that we remain anonymous because we are too few at the present to handle the overwhelming number of personal appeals which may result from this publication, being mostly business or professional folk. We could not well carry our occupations in such an event. Between the lines, it is easy to read our fear that large number of incoming people might break our anonymity wide open. All right. This is no longer true. This had to do with the personal appeals that were coming into the office. And we were too few at the time to do anything about it. They didn't want people to slip through the cracks. You can't blame them for that. As the AA groups multiplied, so did anonymity problems. Enthusiastic over spectacular recovery of brother alcoholics, sometimes we discuss as intimate and harrowing aspects of his case meant for his sponsor's ear alone. You cannot talk about your sponsees to other people. You can say things like, I was working with this person, and now sometimes you may be dealing with a sponsee and you're not sure what to do. So you go to a sponsor. You go to your sponsor and say, I'm dealing with this sponsee, but you're keeping it in your sponsor family. Okay. And you're not really going to be talking about that person. You're going to be end up talking about yourself and what it is that you're doing, what you need to change to meet this person where they're at. That's what you should be talking about. Okay. Do we have fear of other friends going out and need to talk about it sometimes? Yeah, we do. Make sure you pick the right person. Usually a therapist is best for that. I have a person that I talk to. They are a closed mouth friend. They don't really know these people. So therefore, they don't have a personal opinion. And I don't bring up names. It's just situation. How you won't even know where they live. Most of my sponsees don't even live in the state. So, the aggrieved victim would then rightly declare that his trust had been broken, which it had been. When such stories got into circulation outside of AA, the loss of confidence in entity promise was severe. It frequently turned people from us. Clearly, every AA member's name and story too had to be confidential if he wished. This was our first lesson in the practical application of anonymity. I'm going to use my podcast as an example for this. Before we even get started, I allow a certain level of anonymity. And there are some stories that are on there where the name has been changed. The entire name has been changed. There are some people where they don't mind. They care less if you use their full name and their picture and everything else, and they just don't mind. But everybody has their anonymity level, and you have to respect that. Okay? Not everyone recovers out loud. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has a space in AA, and every single thing is as important as the next. There is no job more important than AA. The GSR is no more important than the person pouring coffee or the greeter. They are even. They are equal. It's just service work. Hey, Trevor. Good to see you, man. Seems like I catch you like once a week. It seems to be Sundays. Maybe that's your day off. But it's good to see you, man. With characteristics in temperance, however, some of our newcomers cared not at all for secrecy. They wanted to shout AA from the housetops and did. Alcoholics Barely Dry rushed around bright-eyed, buttonholing anyone who would listen to their stories. Others hurried and placed themselves before microphones and cameras. Sometimes they got distressingly drunk and let their groups down with a bang that changed from AA members into AA show-offs. I just saw a picture of a guy who said, I'm glad that I made it to a meeting, but I'm sitting there looking at it and it's got this picture and gosh, looks a lot more like church. When I go to a meeting and we have these televisions and all these other things going on, it's not AA. It's a spectacle. That's a spectacle. That's not an AA meeting. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Pastors, recovered pastors, unrecovered pastors are the worst. They're the worst. I will not ever sponsor a pastor. And I'll tell you why. I am not going to give them all of my, I'm not going to give them the use of my tools so that they can abuse people. Ain't gonna happen. They turn into AA show-offs. I don't mind if you recover out loud, but if you're doing it for likes and hearts and popularity, please get the fuck out. Please just stop. I've been doing this 5 years and 5 months now, and there's 2 people here. Okay? So what? That's not what matters. Okay? Actually, what matters is there's 2 people here. I don't want 50 people here. It becomes a mess. We get nothing done. Okay? This phenomenon contrast really set us thinking. Squarely before us was the question, how anonymous should an AA member be? Okay? Now, how anonymous can you be? Well, I can do a couple of things. I can say I'm Dion and I'm part of a 12-step group. Notice I did not mention AA. Or I can omit my name and deem myself a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Unknown would be my name. That's it. What's the other thing to anonymity? You can't blow other people's anonymity. Now you have anonymity covered. Okay? It really isn't anything more than that. Because I quite often have people come here. It's my number one complaint. You're blowing the traditions. No, I'm not. Now, if I was asking for money, then I'd be blowing tradition. But I can give my experience, strength, and hope all the fuck I want. Anywhere I want. Anytime I want. But I'm appropriate about it. There you go. I don't think we should be, I don't want to be anonymous. That's for me. Other people want to be anonymous because of certain reasons, legitimate reasons. Pilots, doctors, lawyers, judges. Pilots have their own AA meeting. You don't know about it, do you? No, you don't, because you're not a pilot. It's a secret society for a reason. AA's everything because it's God. Our growth made it plain that we couldn't be a secret society, but it was equally plain that we couldn't be a vaudeville circuit either. That means we're not going to go out and play the clown. Okay? Quit acting like we're deformed. We're not. We're chosen. Much different. The charting of a safe path between the extremes took a long time. As a rule, the average newcomer wanted his family to know immediately what he was trying to do. He also wanted to tell others who had tried to help him, his doctor, his minister, and close friends. As he gained confidence, he felt the right to explain his new way of life to his employer and business associates. When opportunities to be helpful came along, he found he could talk easily about AA to almost anyone. These quiet disclosures helped him lose his fear of the alcoholic stigma and spread the news of AA's existence in the community. Many a new man and women came to AA because of such conversations. Though not in the strict letter of anonymity, such communications were well within the spirit. I do this all the time. I just did it with somebody's PO last week. They had some questions about some stuff. And then when we were done, I said, this is what I do. And if you have more questions, if you need more help, if you run across more people like this, let me know. Let me know. I will help. And she knows this PO, I should probably even say, oh, that's a PO. Now she knows that she has somebody to back her up in these situations. Somebody with a right answer. Somebody who can help her be more successful at her job. That is my job. That's my job. I don't get paid money for it. I do get paid for it, though. But it became apparent that word of mouth method was too limited. Our work as such needed to be publicized. The A groups would have to reach quickly as many despairing alcoholics as they could. Consequently, many groups began to hold meetings which were open to interested friends in the public so that the average citizen could see for himself just what AA was all about. And there we are. There's the open meeting. Open. The open meeting. All meetings were closed before this. Yeah. Now most meetings are open. There are very few closed meetings anymore because we understand that even if now what's going to be a closed meeting? Well, a men's meeting, a women's meeting, LGBTQ, things that are a little bit more specific to gender, or I don't want to go with race because I don't know that there is one that's just for race. Now, I haven't heard of one, so. The response to these meetings was warmly sympathetic. Soon, groups began to receive requests for AA speakers to appear before civic organization, church groups, and medical society. Provided anonymity was maintained on these platforms and reporters present were cautioned against the use of their names or pictures, the result was fine. And it's kind of boring. We only got one more page left, but we need to know this. I mean, I should probably make it a little bit more entertaining, I guess. So notice that when it comes to the press and the news, man, they'll fuck with anybody, but not AA, not 12-step groups. They won't do it. You want to know why? They'll lose their job. They'll lose their license. They're that fucking serious about it. It's a creed that they must follow. That is how much influence AA actually has over our community. Even though we have no say on outside issues. What was that? It was we set an example that nobody else sets. And it's a very good one. And that's what we go by. You can talk all you want, but if you want to watch my walk, watch me walk. Okay? Or you can join me in my walk and trudge the happy road of destiny with me. You can do that too. We may not always be on the same path, but I'll meet you there here and there. Yeah. We'll go our separate ways, but we'll end up at the same place. That came our first excursion into major publicity, which were breathtaking. Cleveland's Plain Dealer article about us ran the town's membership from a few into hundreds overnight. The news stories of Mr. Rockefeller's dinner for Alcoholics Anonymous helped double our total membership in a year's time. Jack Alexander's famous Saturday evening post, Peace Made in AA National Institution. Such tributes as these brought opportunity for still more recognition. Other newspapers and magazines wanted AA stories. Film companies wanted to photograph us. Radio and finally television besieged us with requests for appearances. What should we do? Now, this still does kind of go on. I'm not gonna go into it though, because it's become kind of confusing, which it should not. Anything in recovery that is confusing is not recovery. It's not. Okay? If other people aren't understanding, it's not recovery. Okay? It's self-will. As this tide offering top public approval swept in, it meant that everybody wanted us. Okay? Let's remember, there's still stigma out there. I want to talk about that just a little bit. There is still stigma out there, but it's not like it used to be. especially with fentanyl and the opiate crisis. No, everybody kind of understanding now. You want to know why? Because everybody's affected now. Every single person out there is now affected by drugs and alcohol. Used to be 1 in 10. What does that mean? It means I have a lot of fucking work to do. It means that I feel responsible that the 12 steps remain here for my children, my grandchildren, and for anybody else that comes after me. That's my job, to make sure it survives. And I will do everything that I can. And I found that I can do a lot. So, that it can do us incalculable good or great harm. Everything would depend on how it was channeled. We simply couldn't afford to take the chance of letting self-appointed members present themselves as messiahs representing AA before the whole public. Okay. The promoter instinct in us might be our undoing. And there it is. Almost every alcoholic has what we call a promoter instinct. It's a part of our manipulation. Okay. This is where we advocate, but we were advocating the wrong way. Okay. Now, I understand we want to help, but the moment you think you're going to get credit, the moment you think something you have an expectation, it's going to fall apart on you. And then what are you going to do? Then you're going to go back out, and everybody's watching you now. So they'll watch you go back out and drink. Now you've done harm. What are you thinking? Yep. That's why I do not speak for AA as a whole. I only share my experience, strength, and hope. I don't have anything else. Even if one publicly got drunk or was lured into using AA's name for his own purpose, the damage might be irreparable. At this altitude, press, radio, film, and television, anonymity, 100% anonymity was the only possible answer. Here, principles would have to become before personalities without exception. Okay. I live by the 12 traditions, and it makes my life a lot easier. Because there's a lot of people that still work personality. They don't understand principles before personalities. What is principles before personalities? Well, the 12 steps has a principle. Every step has a principle behind it. We are to practice those instead of judging other people. Period. Quit worrying about everybody fucking else. Just because somebody has an opinion doesn't make it wrong. Okay? Group consciousness need to be principle before personality. The moment the personalities come in, that's when the fights start. Fear they're not going to get what they want. Okay? I don't know how many times I go into a group conscious and hear the same damn ideas about bombers. There are no more new ideas. Okay? You work it the way you want to. Just, you ain't going to get rid of them. It ain't going to happen. Deal with it. Deal with it. I'm going to tell you what those bombers are. They are the direct result of you doing something before now. You did something in the past. And I bet the people that bitch and complain the most are the same people that used to ding dong ditch or make prank phone calls and do that, all that other stuff. And you haven't dealt with it yet, so you don't like it. You don't like it because it reminds you of you. Oops. It's the next thing I'm actually getting ready to tell my group. Is it offensive sometimes? Yeah, but I lived in an offensive world. So, not really. I've seen a lot of penises without wanting to. How about you? Here it comes, though. These experiences taught us that anonymity is real humility at work. It means I don't want credit. I don't take credit for shit. Now, that's not totally true. Hey, Ingrid, good to see you, honey. Sometimes I do take credit. When somebody says, thank you for doing this for me, I will say, you are welcome. Somebody gives me a compliment, I don't give an excuse anymore, even though I want to. Instead, what I do is I say, thank you. That's what I say. Happy Mother's Day, Ingrid. I hope you're having a great day. I really do. I love you. It is an all-pervading spiritual quality which today keynotes AA life everywhere. Moved by the spirit of anonymity, we try to give up our natural desires for personal distinction as AA members, both among fellow alcoholics and before the general public. As we lay aside these very human aspirations, but we believe that each of us takes in the weaving of the protective mantle which covers our whole society, under which we may grow and work in unity. We are sure that humility expressed by anonymity is the greatest safeguard that Alcoholics Anonymous can ever have. Yeah, and it is a safeguard. Because there's a lot of people that have attended AA or even in AA that don't want AA to work. For you too. They don't want it to work for you too either. Because they don't want to be wrong. Their need to be right is so great that they have turned narcissistic. And if you think for 1 second that we didn't have narcissistic traits, you are wrong. We did. Maybe not anymore. Now, just because you had narcissistic traits doesn't make you a narcissist. Okay, but it makes it look an awful lot like it. And gee, the attitude of an alcoholic could probably become that pretty easily. So thank you, everybody. Excuse me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. Peace out and have a day.